Good afternoon, students. This is Uwanga, Jesus Petrina, your English tutor. We are here for assignment-based contact classes. The purpose of this presentation is to guide you on how you should approach your assignment questions, but not to give you the answers to the assignment. So it's listen very careful and take some notes if possible. And of course, I know you benefit from this one. There are some prescribed materials that you need to have in this course. And these are the same guides that we have used in English Module 1. It's Latrin and Pincus, the book which is written by Latrin and Pincus 2010. It's called English Handbook and Study Guide. This one will guide you more on the grammar part and literature part. There is a study guide for Module 2. This one is a book that you got from the office, IOL office, your English study guide. There is Thompson, a book which is written by Thompson, 2001. It's called Teaching Primary English. This one is more on teaching method, English teaching methods. The questions that asking methodology of English. So the guide or the answers or the guidance, you get them from this book, which is written by Thompson. Let's start with our assignment presentation 2018. There are some key points that you need to have, need to understand before you start answering your questions. The first thing is that before you attempt your assignment, you need to work through your study guide. Go through your study guide, read all the topics, try to understand all the topics in your study guide. This one will help you to broaden your knowledge and be able to understand the questions from the broader perspective. The second one, analyze the questions properly before you attempt it. And again, the marks, take notes of the marks allocated for each questions. After completing your work, go through it again and do some editing. You can type your assignment if possible, and if it's handwritten, make sure that it's clear and readable. Number your questions properly. Okay. The assignment content. I'll explain question by question, and some questions I'll skip. I skipped them just because I know that this one will not have any problem. They are very clear and everyone can understand them without any assistance. But if you find that you'll be struggling with answering those questions, don't hesitate. I indicated my number on top there. You can contact me and we see how far we can go. The first question. This question is asking you to define the given terms. There are some terms that are listed there in your tutorial letter. Try to explain them and give examples. It is all what we have to do. Explain and give some examples. Either you use your own example, or maybe if you get some examples from somewhere, so you can indicate them there, as long as you know that they are going along with those terms. So one of the terms that I have picked out from your tutorial is this one, which is simile. You have now to define what is a simile is. And a simile is a type of a metaphor, but distinct from a common metaphor because of the use of two words, which are like or as, to make a comparison. And the example that I have just indicated here, for example, here is that he is he is as big as an old giant. So this one is an example, it's a simile and is an example. And this is the same thing that you have to do in your assignment. Define what a term is and indicate also the example that going along with that term. The second question is you have to outline clearly as to how you can develop the culture of reading in your learners. What you have to do here, you have to explain or describe how you can develop this culture. How can you make your learners love reading? How can you develop this culture of reading in your learners? There are many different ways that one can use. One can talk about putting up reading corner in the class and others. But make sure that your answer is well organized and quite enough for the marks indicated. You can have your own answer from your teaching experience. How do you do it in your class? But what you have to have in your mind is that the answers that you are indicating in your paper or in your answer sheet, make sure that it's enough for the marks that are indicated on your question paper, assignment paper. Question 3. Teaching aids are the materials teachers use in their teaching to stimulate the understanding of the learners. The questions want you now to clarify how can you use given teaching aids in your English lesson. There are some teaching aids listed in your assignment question, like televisions. We have things like radio. You have to tell now how can you use them in presenting an English lesson in your class. And you must also indicate some examples. Every question you need to have some examples. Don't just say things and leave them hanging there, but always make sure that you indicate some examples just for the marker to know that you understand what you are saying. Question 4. This question requires you to state the benefit that learners can get from working in groups, group works. What are those benefits that learners can benefit when they are working together with others in the class? Those are the things that you have to state, just to list to describe or to list the benefit learners can benefit from working in groups in the class, group works. So what are the benefit or the advantage that we are getting from that, learners are getting from that? Question 5, clearly explain what is a problem-based learning. Your English study guide has some information on this one. Make sure you clearly stipulate how problem-based learning works. Problem-based, there are different approach of teaching, like learner-centered approach, teacher-centered approach, and a problem-based approach. So here you only have to state now what is a problem-based approach and how does it work. As I said, your guide has some information on this one. Read through your guide. I do not indicate the page, and I don't want to give you some examples here, because I want you to go and read and have a detailed understanding about the content of the subject. And you can only get it if you are going through your study guide and have intensive reading of this guide. The 7th question is describe how you can make learners love reading literature. State and discuss all the strategy which one can use to attract learners' attention in reading literature. So what are those strategies that you can use to pull the attention or to attract the attention of learners to love reading literature? If you are talking about the literature, we mean novels, prose, poems, and so forth. Now, how can we now make our learners in our classes have this love of reading this type of materials? Question 8. Teaching language in context. What is teaching language in context? The question is asking you to describe or to discuss what is teaching language in context. What I have noticed, some students confuse this term with learner-centered. Teaching language in context, it's not learner-centered. This is something else. Read your study guide and find out what is teaching language in context and how does it work, and explain and also indicate some examples on how a teacher can use this method to present an English lesson. This is all what I have to do here. And I only have just some short explanation for you here that teaching language in context means that the fact or the rules that we learn about language is offered in a specific context. Are you getting that? For example, in a story, in a song, or in a game, they are not just in isolation, but they are presented in a form of a certain context. That is what teaching context means. But this one is just a small explanation that I have just given you here. Now go and read more and find out points that can make you be able to get the marks, gain the marks that are indicated in your assignment question. The other approach that we have talked earlier, it's problem-based learning. Problem-based learning, here learners are presented with really world problems that needs to be solved. It incorporates collaborative learning by placing the student into groups. So this is just to give you an idea of what problem-based learning is. But a lot is in your study guide. Students, make time to read your study guide and understand all the topics and all these terms. And answer your questions, assignment questions, in a broad manner. This is basically all about our assignment. I said don't work alone. Try to contact your tutor in case you find something that is you really don't understand. But my hope is that that this presentation and your study guide and other materials that you get will assist you and will enrich your knowledge to answer your assignment questions. Have a nice day, student, and good luck.